Welcome back. The chocolate chip walnut cookies are delicious. I might have overburned them just a little bit. I mean, I didn't burn them, but they're a little browner than I like, but I was paying closer attention to this and not to my baking. So I'll make some notes on time on my recipe. These need to be in the oven no longer than 12 minutes. I went for 15, it was too long, right? All right, so let's talk about baker's percentage. What is it? What is it? Baker's percentage is a wonderful formula that allows us to calculate our ingredients based on one other ingredient. That's really cool. So no matter if you're doing a small batch recipe, you can see that lime green under there, or a large batch recipe, the volume or weight of the components scale up and down proportionate to our total weight needs. Baker's percentage is calculated by first calculating all of our cup measurements and our teaspoons and our individual items into a weighted measure. That's step one. And then we figure out by weight how much each of our ingredients weighs as a percentile to our first ingredient, our whole. And that whole can be just about anything. Chef Equation converts your recipes for the heaviest item to be on top, to be your whole. Once you have a percentile of weight, like 8 ounces is 72.73% of 11 ounces, we then need to add up all of these percents to get our total percentage. So we've got our weight, we've got our percentage, our percent to whole. The next step is we're going to figure out what we need in terms of overall batter for our next baking week. And that's where the containers come in. That's why you have to put ounces into a container. Because we're then going to take our container, divide it by our total percents, and it creates a conversion factor that tells you exactly how much of that whole ingredient you need. Isn't that crazy? So by taking one, dividing it by the other, it says, oh, okay, for your top line, your top ingredient, you need this much for the batter batch that you have to make this week. And then what's really cool, since you already know what percent of the total weight of that whole your original batch was, it calculates it for you based on the percent of the new whole ingredient. That's baker's percentage in a nutshell. So it's kind of simplified. I hope it works better if you have visuals. Chef Equation does it for you. And that's really all you need to know. Chef Equation does it for you, so it magically scales your recipes up and down to the last ounce or to the great big monstrous batch that you're going to do in a 60-quart mixer. That's baker's percentage in a nutshell. In our next lesson, we'll talk about cost.